Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Eventful Endeavors. Today, we are going back to Southern California. We are going to the coast. We're going to be talking to Rebecca Venturi, who is the venue manager at two venues right on the ocean here, the Seabird Ocean Resort and Spa and the Mission Pacific Beach Resort. Rebecca, first of all, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
So I didn't realize you actually are the venue manager at two venues, which seems like a lot of stuff going on because they're both pretty large venues, yeah?
Yeah, I think it might seem like that, but they technically are boutique properties, so I kind of treat it as one big property, which is nice. We just have two concepts to play with, so.
Gotcha. So I always like to kind of start things off by asking everybody the same kind of question, which is kind of how you got into this industry. What's your story? What's your background? How did you end up doing events?
Yeah, it's actually a very strange story, but I'll keep it brief. So I'm from Seattle, and I'd been in the hospitality industry since I got out of college. I tried a brief stint at Microsoft, and it was not for me. And I thought, well, I really love weddings and playing with hair. And I thought, well, I just want to do wedding hair. So I went to cosmetology school because I thought I was going to do hair and makeup for weddings. And what it really turned out to be is that I just want to be part of the wedding. And so through my background in hospitality, I was a sommelier, didn't want to do that anymore. And I worked at a property that had event space and predominantly doing weddings in the waterfront. And I made a comment one day to one of the sales girls that I just wanted to go to work and be cute and make fun events. And the next day, the director of events said, I heard you wanted to come work with us. And so that was it. And that's how it happened. So I just right place, right time.
And it's you wrote down here that you really do an emphasis on waterfront weddings. So what's the reason? Did you just love the ocean? Did that just kind of start where you're like, I'm just the waterfront venue manager?
I guess so. It's never been intentional, although apparently it's subconscious, right? Every single wedding venue that I have been a part of has been on the waterfront. If not in San Diego, in Seattle. I've been drawn to the water as a child. I'm a Pisces. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I wanted to be a mermaid growing up. So
yeah. Well, I can speak firsthand. I mean, I know I don't think I've ever been to the Mission Pacific Beach Resort, but I've played the Seabird many times, and I can speak to it as it's a really pretty place, great views right down there in Oceanside. So it's fantastic. But I did want to ask just about the venue itself. Because I feel like every time I've played down there, I'm playing in a new room. Like it's like a thing that I didn't know existed. So how many event spaces do you actually have at these hotels?
Quite a few,
especially between the two of them.
Yeah, surprisingly quite a few. Over 20,000 square feet of event space. And with the two properties, we're playing with multiple different concepts. So predominantly the Grand Coastal Ballroom over at Seabird, the Sea Gaze Salon, our Grand Coastal Foyer and Terrace. Those are very popular wedding spaces that are ocean facing. So you've got this beautiful, sparkling Pacific Ocean backdrop with the palm trees. It's just a quintessential Southern California vibe. Seabird's beautiful because it's lovely, timeless, coastal California chic, right? Classic nautical kind of themes throughout the entire hotel, which is really easy to draw from inspiration and play with for your event. And then over at Mission Pacific, we predominantly host weddings in the Pacific Garden with kind of partial ocean views, but really drawing in on the garden feel, which is actually located right behind the iconic and famous Top Gun house, which was featured it was featured in the first Top Gun movie. So we actually have that on our property at Mission Pacific. So our couples can say, I do, right where Tom Cruise and the Top Gun fame all started. And
Have
then
you
our
guys
reception.
have you guys done any? Have you guys done any Top Gun themed events?
Oh my gosh,
I
yes,
feel like
we
those have
have.
been very in right now.
They are, and especially in Southern California because we have California Tom Cruise. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you're familiar with him, but he's graced us with his presence at multiple events, and it's always a fun time. So
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know that those are in right now, and I had no idea you guys are right next to the Top Gun house. So
yeah, it's actually part of our properties. It's a pie shop now. It's managed by F10 Catering, which is they've got a lot of spots out in Palm Springs in that area, but so we've got a cute little pie shop that's Top Gun themed, and try to always incorporate that if we can into our
yeah.
conversations.
Do you guys do, so is it mostly weddings? Is it mostly corporate events? Is it a little mix of both? And how are you involved? Are you mostly doing the weddings, or what's your kind of specialty with all that?
Yeah, I only do weddings. So I am the wedding specialist for
Gotcha.
both properties, and I do anything wedding related, from bachelorette parties, engagement parties, rehearsal dinners, farewell brunches, anything that has to do with a wedding, even vow renewals. I'm the person that you're talking to. But both properties do have a heavy emphasis on corporate travel. So I would say that predominantly we are in the corporate space, in the leisure travel as well. However, the wedding segment is very popular at our properties, so I think I contend with them pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Well, and it's a beautiful spot. I mean, I imagine mostly you almost always do the ceremonies outside, right? Unless there's like weather or something. But it seems like you have a lot of great like lawns that overlook the ocean. That's where you can kind of do your ceremony, right? And then move inside and start partying.
Yeah, exactly. The nice thing about that is, like, technically Oceanside does have an outdoor noise ordinance that starts at 10 p.m., but our interior spaces, we have weddings go until 1 a.m. So we're not limited, whereas a
Wow.
lot of properties are with the noise ordinance. We like to keep the party going. This is a lifestyle resort on both sides. So we're here for the party.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So let's talk weddings then, because you've obviously been involved. I mean, I assume you are involved heavily in kind of like the planning process, since they often find their venue first, and then you're kind of with them for probably a year and a half for a lot of these couples, right? Until they kind
Yeah.
of put the thing together. So, what's your kind of number one like piece of advice for people that are just kind of starting out their wedding planning journey?
I think that a lot of couples put a lot of pressure on themselves to do everything in a short period of time, even though they have a lot of time. And
Sure.
I really think that the whole planning of the wedding should be enjoyed. And I know that's easier to say than to do, but it really is a once in a lifetime experience. And there are a lot of decisions to be made, and they don't necessarily need to be made under pressure under a short period of time. I think there's something to be enjoyed about that specific creation of this moment and this memory that they're putting together. And I think that it's really just about enjoying this season of their life, right?
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think it's easy to forget that. I loved planning my wedding. I had a lot of fun. I mean, it can be stressful, but you know, you're planning a party. It's just a very big, very expensive party.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like that. I think it's easy for people to forget, kind of just like find ways to enjoy this and whatnot. And do you, when you work with these couples early on, like you know, and how do I phrase this question? What's the, you're not a wedding planner, you're the venue manager. So what's the difference kind of there? Like, where do you kind of sit? Like, because I'm sure in many ways you are involved in the planning, but like, what kind of differentiates you from like a wedding planner?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So my role is to basically manage everything that happens on the venue side
Sure.
once the wedding is planned. So our couples work with their wedding planner to do design, to organize and decide who their vendors are going to be, to organize and decide, what the timeline is going to look like. All of those little fine details. They're doing invitations. They're, organizing the things on the outside of what happens at the hotels. And once they've kind of put this plan all into place, then they give it to me and they say, please make a memory out of this and make sure it goes smoothly. And that's really my job. My job is to work with our team to make sure that we're executing their event flawlessly, and we're, paying attention and giving respect to their vision, and we're making sure that it comes to life. So we're basically the doers of the dream.
Yeah. And because of that, do you guys require a wedding planner at the venue?
We do require a wedding planner. You know, I've worked at venues where I was the sales manager and the planner and the operation side as well. But with the level of weddings that we do here, and me just being one person, requiring a planner it's essential. And two, the couple gets a lot more out of that because they're really basically getting representation on both sides, which is essential to having a flawless event. So
yeah, and that's good. I mean, my wedding, when I got married, they were like, you need a wedding planner. I was like, really? And then I was like, oh yeah, you're right, I did. Thank you for that. Thank you for telling me. You were correct. So speaking of weddings, so obviously weddings have changed a lot, even in the pre-COVID world, post-COVID world. There's been a lot of things I've noticed that have been very different. So what are some of the current trends you're kind of seeing going on right now? Either things that maybe used to happen that now are not happening at all, or things that used to never happen, but now everybody seems to be doing. Is there anything you've noticed?
I think speaking in terms of, COVID and how it changed weddings, the funny thing about people is they like to be together no matter what anyone wants to tell you. And people are going to find ways to come together and celebrate. And so during COVID, obviously there were a lot of things you weren't allowed to do. And I'm not seeing any of those trends that popped up during COVID sticking around, whereas it was like a lot of, social distance dancing and silent discos and a lot of, video streaming and things like that. I think that all kind of went away and people are back to being very much together in celebration. So when we talk about trends around here, we're really actually seeing aesthetic changes versus things that maybe are based in regulation. Obviously, there's a lot more care that goes into the planning of events because we do still have clients that are cognizant of, what happens in the scenario that something like COVID were to happen again, right? And so I think there's a lot more contingency plans coming up. Well, what if this happens? And what if this happens? So we're more mindful on the back end operationally about pivoting and pivoting in short time frames. So that is still a thing, but I think that we've all learned so well to do, make changes in such a short period of time and that it's almost second nature. I don't really think of it as a trend anymore, but part of the process. But in terms of visual aesthetics, what we're seeing is a lot more color, whereas before everything was white and monochromatic and green, and you've got these very neutral color palettes. But this year is trending towards bright colors and creativity, and I just love it.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. A lot of colors. I've noticed a lot of hot pink recently. There's been a lot of pink weddings I've done, like a lot of bright, it's been great.
Yeah, and I'm all for it. I mean, we have kind of a tropical coastline with the palm trees and things like that. So it really works well at our venues. I love the bright pinks. I love the oranges, the bright greens and blues. I think that from a fashion standpoint, we are seeing a lot of those brighter kind of tropical colors being tied into weddings just as a whole. And I think that the trends in other industries are going that way as well. So it's really cool to see that come together.
Yeah, I like that. What's the most unique thing you've ever seen at a wedding? First thing that pops into your head, like something that was like, oh, that was so cool.
Okay. So last year we had a couple that did an epic first dance, and it was completely choreographed, but it started out as a song. So, I can't remember the song, but it's that song that's like, I love you always, forever, even far, we're still together.
Oh, yeah. It's going to drive me crazy, the artist, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
is that Donna Summer? I don't know.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna
like
get
it was
roasted
a
for this.
90s song, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I should know it. It's my job to know music, so it's really bad.
Oh yeah. We'll figure it
Yeah.
out. But so they
Yeah.
had their officiants who were, I believe, actresses. Um, and they had this whole comedy routine, and then they broke out into song, and then they invited one half of the couple to come sing with them this song. And so they started singing this song, and we all thought that it was going to be just a ballad. And then they broke out into this choreographed dance, and
Oh wow.
it was epic. Like, and not only was it their first dance, but it was also how they opened up the dance floor, and then they brought everyone else onto the floor to dance with them.
Wow.
And it was so cool. And obviously we see choreographed dances all the time, but this particular one was like a surprise and delight because you didn't really see it going that way. So that was super fun. Another one that is popular at our hotel are speakeasies. This is coming a trend
Huh.
in weddings. And I really, really love that. So we have a library space on the Seabird side that has this very Gatsby energy, which I love. And it's beautifully adorned with just signature furniture pieces, beautiful books, beautiful bookshelves. And it works really well as a speakeasy bar. So I've got some couples doing that this year, which is fun.
That's pretty cool. I feel like I might have played there. That sounds familiar.
You probably
That does
did.
sound like a familiar space, but I think I'm a very speakeasy kind of guy, so I could have been in there. But yeah, that's cool. I love a good I am a sucker for a good choreographed first dance. And I mean a good choreographed first dance. I've seen some where I'm like, oh well, didn't go well. But yeah, that's really cool. I like that. That makes me just think the couple's just awesome.
Oh, they were
You
so
know?
awesome. They probably
Yeah.
one of my most favorite couples. I don't have favorites, but if I
Because then
did,
you know if they're doing that kind of thing, you know that they're like there to entertain their guests. Like that's what they're there for, and I love
oh,
that.
for sure, for sure. And the entire
Yeah,
thing was from the vows to, the entire ceremony dialogue, all of it was entertainment, and it was the best. And everyone
right.
was dressed to the nines. I mean, it was such a
Yeah, I love that. So, kind of the opposite of that. What are some things that are just like the cringeworthy? Don't do this if you're planning a wedding. Things that seem like a good idea in theory, but then it's like, I know this isn't going to work. What are the things you'd say like, please don't do? No couple should do.
Yeah. So, from a venue perspective, specifically regarding weddings, the biggest challenges that I see over and over again relate to the menu meal cards, the escort cards, over the top menu that matches exactly what that guest ordered. So it's like personalized menus down to that person's name and their order, which is nice in theory, but the design elements of those pieces are often not functional for event space, really, when you're talking about dim lighting. And so the server's trying to get the right meal to the right person can go awry when you've got salmon meal indicators and light pink meal indicators in that lighting. They just look the same. And this has been happening over and over and over again. I can't get the wedding planners off of this trend. And it's like, your colored menu is not doing anyone
Really?
any services. It's pretty in photos, I'm sure, but functionally doesn't work. Um,
Yeah, I've seen that before, but as somebody who doesn't work at the venue or in the catering department, I've never thought about what it kind of, how it can actually make things worse.
It is not helpful, and it actually delays service because their servers spend more time going around making sure that they're getting the meals correct. We pride ourselves on elevated service here. We're not, everything's plated and then going out to the tables. We're not holding things around in a hot box somewhere. Everything is very thoughtful and curated. And so when we're trying to provide an elevated service in our event, every detail that we can set aside ahead of time to ensure that success is crucial. And the more time we have to take to make sure that everything is right, it ends up kind of messing up the flow of things.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And that also kind of answers a question I was going to ask later. So you guys do have all the catering in house, right? So they don't have to bring in, they probably can't bring in any outside catering. Like it's all done through you guys.
Right, everything is done through us. We do make exceptions for religious and cultural designations, of course. I mean, we definitely
Sure.
support different cultural catering and different religious catering. So we offer packages that speak to that.
Cool. So let me ask you this, just as we kind of start to wrap things up. With your down there, like what would you say is kind of the most unique thing about them? What either you like working there, or what you think attracts people to them the most?
The best thing about being in Oceanside and being at the Seabird and Mission Pacific is just that we are in the quintessential beach town, right? We are inundated
Yeah,
with surf culture, and we're nestled right between LA, Orange County, and San Diego, right? And so we speak to a wide variety of couples where maybe they want to get that Southern California experience and be right on the beach, but they maybe want it to be a little bit more elevated, like something you're going to see in Orange County or LA, but maybe their budget's somewhere in between. And so we can provide that right here. You have these beautiful unobstructed views. We're located right in front of the iconic Oceanside Pier,
yeah,
beautiful waves, palm trees. I mean, when I think of a Southern California postcard, this is what it is. It's Oceanside and it's these resorts,
yeah.
and there's something for everyone. If the timeless classic coastal chic isn't up your alley, Mission Pacific provides a little bit more of a sexier vibe for couples that
Sure.
really are just looking for maybe the nightlife element. Maybe they want to just get away and they're not really necessarily interested in that timeless classic wedding. We can definitely do something that's a little bit more moody and I would say on trend in terms of just like a kind of a spicy, sexy event.
Sure. And it's also, you're at a hotel, so it's great. People can stay there. They can just stay at the venue location. So it makes things a lot easier for people having their event there. Yeah.
For sure. It in truly, I mean, for many reasons. I mean, obviously it provides a level of safety and comfort and we can kind of keep track of everyone, but there is no shortage of things to do that keep you entertained. I mean, your guests can wake up the day before the wedding and enjoy like craft cocktails by either one of our pools that are overlooking the ocean and then go catch a private surf lesson by our surf pro.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, we've got yoga overlooking the waterfront. We've got a phenomenal spa, Sunny's Spa over at Seabird. It was voted number 2 in the country, which is pretty amazing. I
Wow.
don't know, like, that's a big deal.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
US,
There's a lot of
USA
spas in the
Today.
country. Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah. And so, and then we've got a phenomenal dining atmosphere as well. We've got a Michelin star restaurant on our property. We are the only Hyatt in the United States to have a Michelin star, and we're the only Michelin star in Oceanside. So Valle, it's helmed by Chef Roberto Alcazer from Valle de Guadalupe, and it features,
Wow.
coastal Mexican cuisine, really with the heart and soul of the Valle de Guadalupe as inspiration. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to draw from here. And again, no shortage of entertainment.
Of course. And I love Ocean. I've always loved Oceanside. I think it's a very, it's just like, it's almost like a small town coastal vibe on the sea there. And I've always loved it. So I do love that there's such cool, fun venues down there. And I think anybody looking to get their seaside wedding in should definitely check out that area, because yeah, it's beautiful down there. And I look forward to the next time I get to come down there and play. So
Absolutely. Well, we'd love to have you back. And actually, I did just find out that we are offering a promotion to anyone that's watching your podcast.
ooh,
So,
let's hear it.
yeah, I don't know if any of your viewers are Bachelor Nation, Bachelorette fans, but we were featured on season 18 of The Bachelorette.
Nice.
So we have a little fantasy suite action with an opportunity to have an overnight stay in our beautiful ocean facing sanctuary suite for 20% off. So if any of your viewers would like to take advantage of that, I highly recommend you can book online at missionpacific.com. But we would love to have any of your viewers as a guest. We could do private tours and we can show you all the spaces.
I think I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and watch. I viewed it.
Yeah. Watch it again.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so much fun. So, and we'd love to give.
Well, we're going to promote the hell out of that.
Talk about it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely promote that to all the folks getting married out there, because that's a great deal. Go take a little staycation. Go down there, check out the venue, and yeah, you won't be disappointed. It's a fantastic place. Well, listen, that's all I really had. So before we wrap it up, is there anything else you kind of want to say? Anything else we didn't touch on? Anything else you want to mention? About the venue, about, life, anything?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be an opportunity, or having this opportunity to kind of hang out with you and chat a little bit about the wedding industry and our beautiful hotels. We're looking forward to this wedding season. We have a lot on the calendar, and so it's going to be a fun year. And as we grow in Oceanside and become a bigger part of the community, we're just looking forward to welcoming new guests and couples. So we're super grateful for the opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for doing this. And we'll link to all your social media stuff, the promotions, all that stuff, so people know where to kind of find you and how to get down there and check it out. Because it's a fantastic spot, and it's one of my favorite places to play in Southern California. So highly recommend just going down there, even just for a vacation. Just go. It's great.
Do it. Let me know. Reach out to me. I'll give you a tour.
Yeah, sure.
That's good.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm gonna say bye to you. And and it's been a real pleasure getting to talk to you. So you have a great rest of your day.
You too, Sean. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.